What's up, everyone? This is episode 2 of some of the worst cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! As much as I am, you know there's some pretty bad cards, but there's also some pretty good cards. Today, I'm going to focus on the bad cards. Now, this is in no order. Insect Queen. Insect Queen is interesting because you can actually make her power at 4,200 if used DNA Surgery to make every other monster an insect, because it gains 200 for each insect on the field. But you do need to tribute a monster for it to attack, and it requires 2 tributes to summon. So it's just not a good card because there's so many better options, and you're tributing 2 monsters just so if you get lucky, you can maybe have an attack of 4,200. 3 Humph Lacuna. Now, this card I've looked at and wanted to play, but it just never seemed like it'd be in my odds if I played. So if there's 3 of these cards on the field, face up, you can tribute 2 of them and draw 3 cards. This +3 is a really good thing, but to get 3 of them out, and it's not even a machine, so you can't like machine duplication it, it's just not worth even putting this in your deck because it has the Wimpy attack of 500 and the Wimpy defense of 1500. So it's probably not even going to stay on the field for you to get all your other 2 out when you got this one out. Got Shine Palace. This card is not terrible. It only can equip to light monsters, and it gives them a 700 attack bonus. This is not a bad bonus, but there's better options. Axe of Despair can equip to any card, and it gives it 1,000. Also, you can tribute a monster when it leaves the field to put it back on top of your deck, I think. It's just better because you can equip it on any monsters, and it's more attack. And the really big thing about this card that I noticed is it came in Stardust Overdrive, which was actually a little bit later than a lot of the cards. Lavel Ignis. Now this card was my very first XYZ monster. I started out with, collecting Hidden Arsenal 6s because they were cheap. Not saying that was a good set at all, because it's really not that great of set. But that's besides the point. It got me back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much, because these cards look really cool. This card was the first one. I've actually used it a lot before it got better XYZs, but it just doesn't cut it. During either player damage step, if it's attacked or attacks, then you can detach a material, and it will gain 500 attack until the end phase. Well, for the fact that it's only until the end phase, it's pretty terrible. And for the other fact that it only gets 2,300 when it uses effect is another thing. You could automatically get like Leviathan Dragon on the field, and you could detach a material, he'd automatically be 2,500. You could play many other cards that would just be better than this card, or stronger. Witch Doctor of Chaos. Well, now I've actually played this card in the deck. So what I realized about this card is it just isn't good enough. When it flips, you get to banish 1 monster card from either you or your opponent's graveyard. The better option is just a Soul Release, because that gives you 5 and you don't even have to choose a monster. And you can do it from your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard, just you gotta pick 3. So it's a lot easier. And you may argue that this is a monster, but if you look at its attack and defense, it only has 500 of each, which is in no way good. Senate Switch. This card may be useful in the future if monster zones mean more. There's like a couple combos you can use with this card, like cards that are specific to the monster card zones, but that's really not that useful in any sense. And you're wasting a whole card using it. It is a continuous, so that's a plus, so you don't have to really technically waste more cards each turn, but it's not good enough to play in pretty much any deck. Now there may be more combos for it that I don't know of. is Relay Soul. Now, when I first saw this card, I was pretty surprised. It's in Dragons of Legend, and that was actually a pretty recent set. Well, kind of recent. It's more recent than most of these cards. So, as an effect that states, you can special summon one monster card from your hand, and when it's face up on the field, you don't take any battle damage. Well, you don't take any damage. So, that's a plus, I guess. But then here's the part where it's just bad. When it leaves the field, you lose. Period. You just lose the duel. What? Why would you want that? The point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to win the duel, not lose the duel. Plus one lousy monster to lose the duel? Well, what? I get this can be like a last resort kind of thing, but from the hand is not even that good. I'd personally rather go from the graveyard, because then you can special summon cards that say this card cannot be special summoned except if you've already special summoned by its conditions, but this card can only special summon cards that can be special summoned in the first place. And when you do, you run the risk of, if your opponent has anything to stop your card. It's not even protected from battle, anything. Anything to kill your card, you lose. Now, I don't know about you, but this is never a good thing for me. I don't want to lose. Another thing is this card actually has some combos, but the combos are pretty long and not really worth your time and very inconsistent. But who knows? Maybe there's a combo for any of these cards that I just have never thought of or I have never seen. Please leave them in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions for future videos of bad cards you want to be featured, or just put in the video, please comment them. Also, like and subscribe.